Rightio, good morning everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Sorry about the little mishap this morning. We've got some internet problems down here. I don't know what it is. Could be the wind. I know that our friends in New South Wales are going through it. I spoke to a couple yesterday. Let's firstly say that we hope everyone is safe and out of harm's way. That's the most important thing. So I welcome everyone here today for this session, Winning the Business, of course, and it's going to be brought to you by our dear friend Jarrod Carman. Jarrod, you've really run the full gamut of real estate over the years, haven't you? You've come full circle. I was
Yes,
thinking
mate.
about that this morning.
Yeah, I have. I've had many iterations over the 18 years of doing it, gone from being an agent myself to, well, a PA to an agent to a business owner to having a massive business, 41 people in a team, to then going back to an E.B.U. And yeah, loved all of them, have to admit.
Yeah, I remember the early days, and we always joke about it. But it is a true story. I got told that this fellow JC is coming to Frankston, and Arthur, you got to move out of your office. And I went, What do you mean? Who is this bloke? Why do I have to move out of my office?" But anyway, the big boss told me, so I moved out. Lucky I didn't get stripped of my car parking as well. But anyway,
I
that
know
was
you read me the
part of
right
our
act.
relationship, I guess.
You read me the right act on that, mate. That you do not get to park there. I had my
Fair
elbows
enough.
out from the start. I was like, right, let's go.
Good on you. Well, I'm excited about today's next session that we were holding for Black Salt. Firstly, I do have hello and some greetings from M&M. They're packing up this week and they'll be flying in next week back to Australia. So that it'll be good to get them on home soil again. The only thing, of course, that happens every year, they come back and the whole office smells of coconut oil, of course, because they've been lazing it up on the Greek beaches there. But anyway, welcome to everyone for this Black Salt session today. Of course, we always say it's agents in the field, training agents in the field. I had a discussion last week. Someone said, "What's the difference between Black Salt and other organisations?" And that really is the difference. We like to put agents who are obviously in the workforce, in the field, to get up and share their experiences, their knowledge, etc. No better than Jarrod Carman here today. So really excited about that. Before I get on to you, JC, let me get on to our guests, beg your pardon, our industry partners, I should say. Sorry, I'm working off one screen, not working for me today, but our industry partners today, you can see them there. I want to thank everyone for, I guess, their sponsorship with the Black Salt movement. And again, towards the end of this year, we'll thank them as I normally do on the stage. Moving forward today, our annual membership, we are up to July, of course, and I mentioned that was Winning the Business. The mid-year review, the last one we did in June with David Dwyer and Michael McClure, was just fantastic. We hope that you got plenty of inspiration out of that. And just want to mention there, Black Salt 26, day one, strategy and inspiration. I'm not sharing. Why I'm not sharing? One sec.
Not seeing your screen. Tick.
Well, someone could have told me that. Hang on, 2 secs. Am I sharing now?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And guess what? Now, okay. Whoever job it is to tell me I'm not sharing needs to be sacked today. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to go back from the start, JC, but let's get into the annual membership, of course. I spoke about the mid-year review. We're into Winning the Business today. Let me just wrap this up. Black Salt 2026, day one, strategy and inspiration, is on Tuesday, the 3rd of December. That is all booked in. We're at the Crown Complex this year. Day two is going to be a PB 2026 implementation day. So that's when we really roll the sleeves up and get into it. And that'll be on Wednesday, the 4th of December, 25, of course. And then later on next year, we'll be in Greece again for our Live It Up conference. So they're the upcoming events for everyone to take note of. Rightio, Black Salt Virtual. We hope you're getting into this. Everything we do and say is captured, of course, and thrown into the library there, the Black Salt Library. You can always go back, review, rewind, and have a re-listen and get the most out of each session. Manos wanted me to reiterate our workbook and downloads. Everything is downloadable, so please feel free, jump into using your Black Salt membership, of course. Jump into the portal and you can download every book framework there that we've got. It's all there and available for everybody. Well, it's that time, JC. I hope your computer's working a little bit better than mine today. So I said at the onset that you've really come full circle from running from an office into and I just want to elaborate on this just for a second, into a small shared office with another couple of businesses, into then your own office, and then of course we had the super juggernaut of the Mornington Peninsula. Correct me if I'm wrong. You had 5+ agents. They were all writing about $1 million.
We had 12 agents total. 5 of them were writing $1 million. We're bringing in 6.5 to close to $7 million GCI.
Yeah, that was just a super juggernaut, and I remember the days that Frankston's been an all right office for us as well. We had plenty of heads here, but we could never catch them. We were always a comfortable second, and I remember the days that we used to compete for first and second within our group, and those days are long gone now, aren't they?
Yes.
They were the good old days. We've got some
long gone,
mega businesses now.
There's some amazing businesses within the group now, and I think we were kind of trailblazers at the time, and it was amazing. We were like the PG version of Wolf of Wall Street. It was just good fun. We were all bouncing off the walls. We were all encouraging each other, and if my legacy has been anything, it's I've created some really good agents to become competitors. Is one thing. And I've always liked to train. So what qualifies me to sit here today? Yes, I've grown businesses. I've got an honours degree in psychology, which kind of helps, but I put my pants on the same way everyone else does, and I'm still in the field just listing and selling. And I've gone from a big business to an E.B.U. Love it, love every part of it. And I think it's important for people to run their race of what they want in their life. And that's the beautiful thing about real estate. You can cater it to what your lifestyle is going to be. If you want to grow a massive business, go for it. If you want to have a smaller business, unreal. You can do whatever you want to do.
That is well said, mate. Well said. I'll leave it over to you now. I believe you have sharing rights, unlike me. Go for it, JC. I'll put it over to you now. Let's get stuck into winning the business. I can't wait for this next hour and a half or so. Let's go.
I hope so. The tech is not usually my friend, so let's see if it does work. Well, hang on. Let's just share my screen. Have you guys allowed me?
I'll stop and in you get.
Hang on. I don't want to share that. Okay. I'll just jump in and grab this one. Sorry, guys, bear with me. You've already done that. Can everyone see that screen?
Sure can.
Can you see the main screen? Or can you see?
We can.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Jump to that. You've done that. You've done that. You've done that. Beautiful. Okay. Here's this guy. All right, so we are going to go through quite a few things from the very start of the major reasons why we don't get called in, why you might be losing business, what's your presentation like in the actual home, and your follow-up. All right, so we'll go through the whole gamut. Now, for me, I look at the reasons you're likely to get listings is because of your reputation. And some of you might be fairly new to the industry. You can build a reputation really, really quickly. Look at some of the great people within our organisation. Joel Hood's a perfect example. He's moved into a new area, completely green, completely fresh start, and just followed all the right steps, did a lot of right things, and has smashed it out in a very short space of time. So we'll go through everything from how to get called in to following up. All right, so what are the major reasons we don't get called in the first place? One of the main reasons we don't get called in is because they don't know who the hell you are. people aren't going to trust you, call you in, know you, unless you've got an omnipresence within the market that you're in. Now, a lot of successful people don't use a scattergun approach and try and be everything to everyone everywhere. The people who do extremely well focus in on 1,000 to 1,500 homes and try and dominate that patch, because more business will come from that and it's manageable. If you're focusing on 1,000 to 1,500 homes, it's super manageable. If you step out to 2,000, 3,000 homes, it's a lot harder to manage. Just doing drops, all that sort of stuff, it's very hard to manage. And also, if people see you consistently and you've got a 50% plus market share within a certain area, you're much more likely to get called in. So focus in rather than trying to be everything to everyone. So that makes sense to people. Because if they don't know who you are and they don't trust you, they're not going to call you in the first place. My biggest bugbear in my pocket, if I don't get called in, that's the part that I'm annoyed at, because we obviously haven't got the reputation, not known, we're not doing something right within our prospecting. Okay. So get all the people that are in that area, get it into your database, and get to know everyone. If you're starting out, go door knocking, knock on the doors, get out there, go and find out who's who in the zoo. Drive around the area if you are new. Even if you're not new and you know the area and you think you're special, ask people, have they heard of you? Because a lot of times they don't. We think we're amazing and we think everybody knows who we are, but for the most part, people don't care and they don't know who you are until they're in real estate mode. But if you're consistent with your marketing, and consistency is the key, if you're consistently in there, then at least you're in with a shot of being able to get called in. Now, some of the things I'm going to talk about today, you've probably heard before. I was talking to Andy Thorpe about it earlier today, but sometimes it's about the fourth or fifth time you hear it that you go, oh yeah, I need to do that. I'm not doing that. And sometimes it's important for a refresher. So why don't we get called in the first place? Your market presence is potentially not engaging. It's not engaging enough for them to call you in there, or there's no trust or goodwill in the market. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? Do people talk positively about you? Do people even know who you are? That's the first step. So get known in the area, get involved in community things, get your branding out there everywhere, so that wherever people turn, one of my favorite comments over the years is, I see your face everywhere. I apologize for that. Usually it's like not a great head to have to look at, but people see it, and it just, when real estate does pop in their head, or they're having a conversation about real estate, hopefully your name is one that pops into their head and they go, oh yeah, have you heard about this guy or this girl? All right. So get known, create great relationships with other agents, buyers agents, vendor advocacies, and referrals within other areas. So some of the guys who do really well in our area, and I'm not super involved with it, is at the yacht club, sporting clubs. Don't just donate money, because it never, in my history, never works. If you're involved, and you're there and you're seen, people will gravitate towards you. All right, so create amazing fans of people who will be your mouthpiece, who will speak positively about you. Be the barbecue conversation. Be the conversation when people go, bloody real estate's, that someone goes in to defend you and says, no, actually, I know a really good person who's in real estate. This is them. So create great referral partners, great relationships, have a program for referrals. If someone gives you a referral, even a small gift, even giving them something for thinking about you is really important.
JC, can I just quickly jump in?
Yep.
Could you just demonstrate how that picnic in the park that you did for all those years, how that helped your business?
Yeah.
Because there was hundreds and hundreds of people there every year.
It was massive. That was one thing that was so enjoyable for us. So we used to do it every Christmas. It was a Christmas party we would have, and I forget that people don't know that we used to do this stuff. We'd give away a car. So every person that sold a house with us would go into the draw for a car. And all the agents, how it worked, the agents would contribute $400 towards that car. And then they'd all go into a draw, and one of their vendors or buyers would win. Then we had rides, we had clowns, we had petting zoos. It was nuts. We took over the whole park every year. and just give out it was a free event. So the only thing people had to pay for was their own food. We had food trucks there. So we supplied for the community. It was just a great community day. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. It was kind of like an old school 80s Christmas party that businesses used to have. And we wanted to bring that back. It's just as a thank you to our community. And yeah, it didn't go unnoticed, that's for sure. People really noticed it. I think other agents used to get quite upset because, it was something that really helped our business grow, but it was a sign of goodwill back to our community that we were giving them something for free. And kids loved it. My kids still talk about it. It was really good fun. Yeah. So thanks for asking about that, mate. I forgot about those. They were great fun. I'd love to do it again. And it could help to piggyback onto another business, perhaps, if you're thinking of doing something like that. We used to do movie nights, and again, now I'm thinking of all these things we used to do. It's probably important that we get back into doing them. So we used to take over the local cinema. We'd have a cinema night for all our vendors for that year, past vendors, people that we wanted to build relationships with, people in our database that have been in there for a while, the VIPs, people who were our current landlords, even tenants. We invited everybody, not even tenants, that sounds awful, tenants, anybody that was part of our business that we wanted to thank. That was a great thing to do. And you can do it. You don't have to pay for it all. You can get sponsors. You can ask for sponsors to do it. Realestate.com will sponsor those sort of things. There's plenty of businesses out there that don't want to pay for the whole load for themselves. They can't afford it, but you can piggyback off that. We used to, at the movie nights, we'd serve alcohol and just give a really short speech to thank people for being part of helping our business succeed. So, yeah, it was a really cool thing to do. And that, as a referral, is amazing because people say, they talk about it. We went out last night to a movie, or we had this family fun day with E.B.U at the time, and they spoke really positively of us in the street. I really want people to cross the street to come and say hello, not walk to the other side of the street to get away from me. So it's an important thing to do within the community. So thanks for asking about that, mate. Is your listing presentation up to stand? It's an important thing to do. We did some training, Arthur, you might remember that, where we had to give a live listing presentation in front of a trainer. So are you practicing it? Are you monitoring it? Are you looking at the numbers that you're doing? Are you doing 10 appraisals and only winning one? Why is that? Look at what you're doing, how you're doing it. And for me, every listing appointment that I lose, I know I haven't done something well when I walk out of there. Like, man, I just spoke too much. I didn't shut up. I got caught up in just telling stories and not listening. So really assess what you do, and is it up to standard? Do it for a friend, do it for a colleague. Sit down with one of your colleagues and give a normal presentation of what you would do. One of the most confronting things my team did when we had a massive team, every one of us went to my mum's house, walked around the house, and had to give a live listing presentation in front of just role played in front of all of us. And you saw the people who failed really quickly, but it was an opportunity for them to learn. You're either winning or you're learning. You're not losing. All right. So amazing opportunity to learn. Do it in front. Videotape yourself doing it. But have an after action check sheet of what did you do well, what didn't you do well. All right. Really assess it, because this is the critical part. When you're sitting in front of a client, you've done all the hard work to get there, and you're sitting in front of a client, you're about to make a $10,000 to $30,000 mistake unless you get it right. So get it right. Did you have them at hello? Did you ask the right questions? And did you figure out, for me, you need to figure out everybody's motivation and their destination. So motivation is key. If you're just going in there presenting and doing the same thing every time of just presenting them, telling them how good you are, you're going to win maybe 1 out of 10. Okay. But the biggest thing for me is the ratio. Listen, ask questions to then diagnose. All right. So listen, but you've got to ask questions in order to get them to talk. Building rapport is the most critical thing out of all of this. And the best way to build rapport is to ask questions and let people talk. Okay, it's not by talking to them, which feels counterintuitive right now for me, because all I'm doing is talking at you guys to a screen. Feels alien for me because I like to ask questions and then get responses. Now, are you going to win every listing? No, I hate losing, but there's some things that I don't mind losing. Some properties aren't within my wheelhouse. Some vendors I know we're not going to get along, so I don't want that business. And the same for them. Don't feel rejected if they just didn't like you. It's just it's just our marketplace. It's the hardest thing as a real estate agent because our personality is on the line. Um, but you have to be a bit of a chameleon if you want it. But there's an agent for every seller and a seller for every agent. You know, you can't think you're going to win all the business, and it helps you to be able to let it go. But if you find you're losing a lot of the business that you wanted, or you're tripping over at the finish line, assess what you're doing. What is it that you're doing wrong? Okay. The other agent said they had a buyer. I love that one. Um, Finding out your people's motivation. So you wouldn't just go in all the time saying, we've got buyers, we've got buyers, we've got buyers, we're the best, we're the biggest. Um, some agents, some sellers won't care about that. And you normally hear them say, well, they didn't even ask me a question. They have no idea about me. So find out if it's a buyer strategy that they want, if it's off market that they want, okay, provide the solution. But you've got to be in the right place at the right time. It's not just about doing the same thing at every presentation and going in and expecting a different result if you're not winning. Right? Now, Manos brought this up this morning. Who's seeing all of Manos's posts every day? Geez, that takes dedication. And that is one switched on cat to do that every day. And he doesn't, can I say, he doesn't do it for his own self-gratification. Manos doesn't do it to puff his chest out and go, yeah, I do a daily post. It's to educate people to try and help them. And today's was a ripper because real estate is a mental game. It's an energy game. It's all about what you're projecting, and people feel you. They know if you're not confident. They know if you're distracted. They know if you're not having a good day. People can feel it. And I remember one of our guys, and I won't name who he was, when we had that big office. He'd lose out on a listing, and he would carry it, and he'd carry it for days. Like, mate, the next two appraisals you walked into, did you get them? No. Why not? I don't know. Well, I can tell you why, because you're walking around like your dog just died and you're carrying the last one that you lost. So you need to learn how to shake it off, and you need to learn how to change your energy. Energy can be manufactured, completely manufactured. If you want to be miserable right now, you can act miserable. If you want to be happy, you can think happy thoughts, you can change something, you can go in for a run, you can change music in your car, you can do so many things to manufacture energy and manufacture excitement within yourself. It's so simple to do. All right. So, um, yeah, be so busy that the no's are just an irritation, not a discouragement. You'll be busy if you're doing all the right things and if you're picking up the phone and if you're doing all your prospecting. All right. And energy breeds energy. The more you're doing, people feel it. Um, when you're when you're in a relationship and you're in a happy relationship, you can see that other people are attracted to you. It's one of those things that people are attracted to positive energy. Negative people are also attracted to negative energy. Right? So don't be the vampire that sucks people's energy. All right, listing presentations. So there's 4 listing presentations. Let's go. Digital interview. What's your footprint? What's your footprint out there? What are people seeing? Phone call, that initial phone call is really important, whether it's to your assistants or whether you take those calls, that's important. The in-house presentation when you're sitting down face to face with people, and the follow-up. Okay, do you have amazing follow-up? Um, some people, their follow-up might not be the greatest. I've admitted at times my follow-up's not awesome because I like to try and get the business right there and then. So I figure if I don't get it right there and then, I've only really got a 25% of getting it once I walk out the door, because I'm usually one of 3 or one of 4. And if I haven't been compelling enough to get the listing then, usually I don't think I'm going to get it. But there's guys who are amazing at follow-up. They just pester, 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 pester. And it's a landmine you can lay on people. If you don't hear from that agent in the next week, well, they obviously aren't that interested. And if you're calling them every second day, you've already set it up for yourself. All right? But don't annoy people. Don't pester them. Read the play. Ask them, when would you like me to contact you? There's important ways to do that. But digital, let's go forward. So most people most, over 60%, I think, have made their commitment to an agent before they've even walked through the front door, based on your digital profile, based on the referral, based on what they know of you already within the community, based on what you've sold, based on what they've seen you doing, based on what their friends are saying. Most people have made their decision. But having said that, if you're coming from behind, you're not that well known, you have a real ability when you're in the lounge room to convert that to get people to shift in your favor. Okay. Righto. So how does your imaging look? How does your brand look within the marketplace? Now, you all have a bit of a bonus if you're within Agents Agency that the branding looks pretty good for everyone that I can see. It's amazing. But are you using the resources that are there at your fingertips? Are you doing the thing? Are you printing out the right stuff? Are you using crap marketing? Are you putting it on just an A4 and sending it out there and it looks rubbish? So make sure that within your marketplace, your stuff looks amazing, that it's going to capture people, but it's also going to target your specific market. If you're going for the high-end market, then yes, make your things plush. If you're going for that middle of the market, don't look like you're so high-end market that you're repelling them. Okay, so figure out what it is, what marketplace you want to be in, and then cater to that. So we're in that middle band. We focus on, the 800 to 2 million properties and sit within that. Do I chase the big $3-4 million plus stuff? No, not necessarily. It's not really, again, our wheelhouse. But we want the people within our marketplace, the stuff that does turn over quite well. We want to attract to them and be a luxury brand within that price bracket, if that makes sense. So how's your social media looking? How do you look on realestate.com? Are you interesting? Or are you just another, real estate agent looking like a real estate agent? Do you attract the people that you want to attract within your marketplace? Do you have the option for a billboard? Do you have bus signage? Can you put your brand all over the back of the bus? Girls, hashtag real estate. Yes, they're on the back of the bus. You see them all over the place. I used to have the side of a bus in a big alien suit and all sorts of ridiculous stuff. I used to do some crazy stuff, and it got people talking. All right, so make an impact, make a splash, do something that's exciting, do something that excites you. Are your vehicles branded up? Do you have good branding within that? We get comments all the time about the branding of our cars. They are so simple. It's just black and white. It's not noisy. It's not messy. And people see it everywhere. But that's our brand. Our brand is simple. It's easy. And we want it to be, real estate black and white. That's us. Okay. Are your for sale boards, they're looking good? Your pointer boards. Pointer boards out on weekends. If you can do them in your area, get as many of them out there as you possibly can. I intentionally did bigger boards than everybody else, and I love it. I get excited when I drive down the road and I see our boards and they're massive compared to everybody else's. I love it. Like, there's our boards. They stand out like dogs do these. All right. Are you doing marketing? Your letterbox drops, are you doing them consistently? Every week people get something from us, to the point that there's things on letterboxes in my area saying no more Carman drops. I love it. We've got a drops diary that every week what's going out, so I can look through the weeks and see exactly what's in there. I can see what's been sent out. So then we can monitor what's worked. If one particular drop has worked and we've got 3 appraisals out of it, fantastic. We'll do that again down the line. So really important that you're watching what you're doing, you're monitoring what you're doing, and you are consistent with it. Consistency will leverage everything. Do you have a social media strategy? Do you have a letterbox drop strategy? What is your prospecting strategy within all of that? All right, so this is a perfect time of the year to go through all of that, set yourself a marketing budget, and what are you going to do for the next 6 months? Are you going to commit to doing drops? Are you going to commit to social media marketing consistently? What is it that you're going to do? All right. Social media is not the answer to everything too. A lot of people just go, oh, I'll just put on social media and everybody will know who I am. Not necessarily. It helps. It's part of the omnipresence, but get known in your community. It will help. Now, the first phone call is really, really, really important because it sets the scene. For me, I'm asking a lot of questions at that initial phone conversation. If I haven't got a relationship with them, if they're friends or I've known them for a while, I will still ask, why is now? Why are you looking at now to sell your property? That opens up a whole stream of communication for me as to where their heads are at. But this is the critical thing. So whether you're doing it, whether a PA is doing it, you want to be able to ask the right questions without it seeming like an interrogation. Okay, so we'll provide you with a sheet later on that you can download off the resource hub of a list of questions that you could potentially ask and a stream of where you can go. But it has to feel conversational. Anything that you do within this industry, internalize it and become so unconsciously competent that people don't realize that you are qualifying them or you're leading them into a direction. When I'm humming, when I'm flying, when I'm focused, I basically look at it as a game of Tetris to kind of back people into an unavoidable corner that they cannot say no. But they just can't say no to me. All right. The only option for them is to say, yes, we're happy to move forward with you. Okay. So it starts from the phone conversation. Very important. All right. So yes, here's a list of things if you really want. This will help if you're a structured person and you need it. Real estate having structure is so important. If you're doing things differently every time and you're not organized and you're not structured, it is so freaking challenging to run this business because it's an easy business. It's a really simple business if you have organization and if you have structure. My team know exactly when the phone call happens, when they get a diary invite, bang, that's act. This happens, this happens, this happens. We have a whole list of things that go forward. Everyone just knows what they do now. They tick it off the list, done. All right. So are you sending an SMS appointment confirmation? Are you sending out a pack? What are the things you're doing consistently? And it has to be consistently. Otherwise you stop and go, hang on, did that go out? I don't know. I don't remember who's responsible for that. So have a list. This can help. This can certainly help. Okay. And run through that. Thanks for calling your agency, bloody. For me, I ask a series of questions that then can lead to other questions. It's the same at the open homes. Some very simple questions. Who referred you to me? That's one of the first ones I ask. Who referred you to me, or how did you find out about us? I've had a couple recently on Google, which I didn't think we were advertising that heavily on Google, but I normally love to hear my friend such and such referred. Okay, who was that? Oh yeah, fantastic. Then from there, you get a gift out to that person. You get a thank you gift. So you think of the subtleties of that. You're sending out a thank you gift for putting our name up. They then get a gift from us pretty swiftly, and they'll call their friend and say, hey, I hear you've contacted Jarrod. Fantastic. Look, great guy. You are so far ahead of anybody else that they're going to call because the speed of execution is really important. So how did you find out about us is a really good question to ask. And all these questions are here. Hone in, make it so conversational for yourself. You need to practice this stuff, but ask the questions not just to tick it off and go, okay, how can I help you best today? Yeah, okay. How did you hear about us? You have to be conversational. You have to know this stuff and ask the question for a reason to help you get information to be able to use to help them. Okay? Not just to help yourself, but when you can help them and they give you information, you can use it later when you've got offers on the property. Way. I'm always thinking 10 steps ahead. All right, so this is all in the resource hub, right, Arthur? It's all.
Yep, 100%.
Download it, practice it, get to know it. Even if you're an experienced agent, you can still do it. You can still learn. It's really easy to get into your defaults, and I unfortunately do it sometimes. And then I lose a couple and go, what? Why did I lose? Because I just got lazy and got into my default positions and wasn't studying enough and perfecting my craft. All right, so all that's there. Help us help you. I love this. So this is a little personality test for me. I give this in our pack. So this is our pre-list kit. Super important. I still like we have a digital pre-list kit that as soon as they book the appointment, they get a confirmation text message with which goes out off Realtair for us, and it has details of the booking when it's happening and information about us and some recent sales in the area. Everyone's sales. So it goes. Okay, the speed of execution of people getting this is really, really important. It's soft, everything's tactile for us. It costs about $10 a box. So if I'm doing 30 appraisals a month, which is my target, you do the math on that, you've got to have that within your budget. But quite simply, if I then win, of those 30, I then win 6 to 8, then they pay for themselves and more so. So confirmation, really important. This stopped us from getting cancellations. When people got the confirmation, it wasn't, there's a confirmation at the start, they get a text, they get this, then they get another confirmation the day before or the day of. It sent our confirmed rate to 100% instead of, people cancelling, going, oh, geez, I forgot about that. I booked my dog to go to the washers. All right, for that, in that, people get magnet, sits on their fridge. Get yourself a magnet. I find these everywhere. They're all over the place. Pens, people love our pens. Get one with an end on it like this that works as a stylus. Stuff about us, all in the resource hub. Contractor recommendations, fantastic, because if they then call these contractors, they've been looking at your pack. All right. Capability document, your home, that's all in there, guys. Really lovely, glossy, beautiful chocolate. Branded up chocolate, our chocolate. We stole it from Aldi. This document I love. All right. So this helps us to help you. Really important. So that one right in front of you. Now, the reason I do it, it's a personality test. People who fill this in are generally a type of person. They're an educator, an administrator. So teachers, administrators, people who are structured and organized tend to fill those in. So I then tailor my communication to those people. That's where I will bring out a CMA. If they're a visual person as well, which I'm picking up from all of these things. If they're a super structured person, they want structure. They fill this in, you deal with them differently to someone who hasn't filled it in and who just walks around the house going, yeah, I love this because it's so colourful. All right, that's a whole different person that you communicate. You change your communication style depending on that. We have stuff about the BYB. So if you're doing, show of hands, can't really show your hands, who's doing before you buy or building inspections prior to. For us, that's been a bit of a game changer. Campaign agent, we give a bit of a notification as to how that works so that they know they're going to have to sign up for marketing. Important. Testimonials, critical. Really important to have testimonials in there. And just some information on how to sell your property and how to move forward. So yes, it's a lot of stuff. That wasn't done. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in there, but you'll see how serious people are if they've opened it. You see it spread out on the table. You go, right, these people have been paying attention. Okay, it's all about branding and what they need to do and the steps involved. So hopefully you have a document like that. What's going on there? Hopefully you have a document like that so they can see the steps. Now, will everyone look at that? No. No, some people won't even open it. You go, oh, there's my $10 gone. Because the speed of execution, you got that out within an hour to 2 hours. They've just got off the phone. They've had a great conversation with you, asking them what's important to them and why they're looking at moving now and anything else you can need. And do I need to bring a coffee to the appointment for you? Those sort of conversations. And then they receive this within an hour to 2 hours to their door. If you've asked for permission to drop it off to their house, if they're there, or permission to drop it off at their workplace, which is a whole different thing again. That's exciting. When they get that within an hour to 2 hours, they're excited. They're like, hang on. The other agents didn't even drop anything to me. You guys are obviously structured, you're organized, you take your stuff seriously. Okay. So it's all part of a process for me that is important that, you want a bit of flash, you want to excite people and them to go, hang on, these guys really know what they're doing. All right. So the pre-list kits, we've just gone through that. What can be in there? A handwritten note, a thank you card, your business card, cover letter, help us help you, make a dream their home. All those things I just went through, really, really important. But the speed of doing it, that is the ultimate key. Whether you do it yourself, if you're too busy, you should have an assistant, someone in the office, one of the other agents. if you hook each other up and go, look, I'll go for you if you go for me. Let's have a barter type system. Great. Chocolate Tim Tams. If you know they've got kids, if they've got dogs, if they talk about their dog and they're all about dogs, put dog treats in there. This guy's just put a handwritten note. This is for your puppy, not for you. Don't eat it. All right. And I'm going through things really quickly, so this could be a short, sharp, less than an hour and a half, but we will take some questions too if people want to ask questions. Best way to learn something is to ask questions. So I'll rip through things pretty quickly. Now, you're going to make your money at the front end by being known, but this is the critical point that when you're in front of people, you can trip over your own shoelaces. I've done it before. But if you've got a structure and you ask the right questions and you're understanding why you're asking those questions, you will be fairly unstoppable. You can be amazing. All right. So have a normal agenda that you set for yourself. I know when I don't take control or I allow just to stand up at the kitchen bench, yeah, I know it doesn't feel right and I know it's not going to go how I want it to go. So I tend to take control. So have you sent out your pre-list? Have you done your morning confirmation? How's your grooming looking? Are you looking scruffy? Have you grown a beard? Guilty, done it in the past. If you're running late, cardinal sin, but people appreciate a call. If I'm going to be 2 minutes late, I will ring them and say, hey, my last appointment just went a little bit beyond. I'm running a bit behind schedule. I'll be there a couple of minutes past. And they go, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for letting us know. But people will watch. If you're walking up to the door right on that time, it impresses the pants off them. If you're 3 minutes late, 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late, you're already on the back foot. Right? So get yourself organized. Get yourself structured. Have a good diary. Have a good system. Give yourself plenty of time. Make sure you haven't overbooked yourself. And if you have, take the time to ring them. All the technology is there. Bring them out of your car. It's so simple. I never park in driveways. Don't ever park in driveways, no matter what the property's like. Unless they specifically say to you, park in the driveway, don't ever park in the driveway. I don't know about a lot of you blokes, but I find that men, if you park in front of their garage or you park in their driveway, they get really agitated. And also for girls, you don't want to be parked in a driveway where someone can block you in. Okay? Sometimes you don't know what you're stepping into. So park opposite, park down the street. If your car is too fancy for the area as well, I've had it before where I rocked up in a big, beautiful Mercedes and it was a $500,000 listing and they saw my car out the front and straight away, I was never getting that business because it was too flashy for them. I should have parked around the corner. Okay. And the same goes the other way. If you're rocking up to a $3 million home and you're driving in a car that might not be perceived as showing you as successful. That happened to me early in my career. People will form an opinion very, very quickly. So know that you've got 3 seconds they're judging straight away. All right, so just use your nous. Take a minute to view at the front. They're going to be watching you out the window. Have a really good look. Don't be distracted on your phone, flustered and rushing. Have a really good look at the property from out the front. Have a look at the gables. Have a look at something that you can comment on of how beautiful it is, or think of things that they can improve on if they need be. Don't stand right on the door. So there's just little things, but if you're not focused and this isn't so ingrained, you'll have slip-ups. And the smallest thing can set people on the back foot where they just go, no, I switched off to this person straight away. Stand back from the door, a big smile. Now, handshakes. Handshakes are interesting. I don't know about you guys, but COVID seems to change everything with handshakes. Some people are still very awkward about a handshake. Give them a cuddle. No, don't do that. But be conscious of that. A simple thing of physical touch from someone can be an amazingly positive thing for people. We still miss that in society now too. Sometimes a touch on a shoulder or a touch on an elbow for someone is enough to help create that connection. But don't go around touching everybody. All right. You need to have a familiarity, a rapport built with them to be able to do that. All right. So that's an art form itself. I wouldn't recommend you go around touching people. All right. Often take your shoes off. I do it every place. If I see they haven't got their shoes on, straight away I kick my shoes off anyway. I said, okay, I take my shoes off. Like, yes, thank you for doing that. If they're wearing slippers in the house, the shoes come off. If they're wearing their shoes in the house, I will ask, would you like me to take my shoes off? They usually go, nah, you got 5 dogs and 2 kids, and nah, leave them on. Your shoes or your socks will get filthy. And a positive opening statement, that can be anything from, it's so lovely to see you guys today. Thanks for taking the time to allow me to see, or comment on the exterior of the house. But be careful walking around the house just saying, oh, that's beautiful and that's amazing, because it comes across as disingenuous for one. And I remember doing an appraisal with someone who walked around the house to say, oh, this is lovely and that's so amazing and I love that. And the vendor said, enough. I fucking hate that, pardon my language. She was this quite well-to-do woman. She lost it. She goes, I hate that. I've never liked it. And straight away, we were never getting that business because it seemed like it wasn't genuine. It seemed like it was just, you do this at every house, don't you? You walk in and say how amazing it was. It was 1960s carpet that was all over the place. She'd always wanted to replace it. Okay. So, but an opening positive statement of, it might be roses, or it can be something really simple. Like, have you guys painted recently? This looks awesome. It can be something obvious, but something clever that's going to help you build rapport. But I think this is a nice person. Simple stuff, huh? Simple stuff, but we sometimes forget it. All right. So this is the money time. This is when you're sitting down building rapport. Now, for me, I do it where I like to sit down first, have a chat, usually have a cup of tea or a coffee with them, and talk about what their forward plans are. I'll ask questions about, why am I here today? What is it that I can help with? Who referred you to me? There's questions that I ask along the way. I might have already asked those questions, but I'll bring that person up. So such and such referred you to me. What did they say about their experience? Now, what's important to you guys? What are you looking for? What are you looking to do? Find out their motivation. And don't just ask one question and go, okay, cool, I know you want to move. No, but why do you want to move? What is it about the property that's not suiting you anymore? Dig, 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 because then you get to their genuine reasons as to why. On the third question, you usually get to their genuine reason. Okay. I've found out at these appointments, when I'm sitting at the table, 2 people look like they're getting on like a house on fire, and you ask enough genuine questions and you listen, and then you respond with another question to dig a bit deeper, you find out that they're getting divorced. One of them is sick, whatever it might be, and then you can absolutely, genuinely, and enthusiastically and realistically help them. All right. If you ask that one question of, why are you looking at now to sell? Oh, well, we just want to move it on. We just want to sell. Hard to build rapport with that, but you need to dig deeper. You need to ask another question, and that question of why is now important to you, or why are you looking at now at selling? Oh, they'll give you a myriad of answers, but your response to that is important to ask without interrogation and ask with genuine understanding and concern, so you can then help them get to the right next step. And it's an exciting time, guys. It's an exciting time for some people. It's a miserable time for others. You have to find out what that is, because if you just go in presenting and telling people how many houses you sold, how amazing you are, they just go, okay, next. Who's next? It's not about you. It's not about how good you are. It's about them. And you only figure that out if you're asking enough questions. So learn what the questions are. What are their whys? What are their most deepest desires? They might have lived in the house for 20 years. And if you just go in there and tell them how good you are, and you're not sympathetic to the emotion that's attached to that move, that is the most important part. We forget that, yeah, we're selling houses, but it's not about the house. It's about the emotional connection that those people have to that property. And for some people, it's really hard to let it go. But it's also very powerful for you to be able to bring that up throughout the listing of, I understand, I know we're not getting as many people through the property that we thought we might do. And I know that's really hard for you guys because they take it personally. I get it. I know where you're at. All right. So it can help you throughout the whole journey to build a relationship with people. Not your trophies. They don't want to hear about your trophies and how many properties you sold because you're the best and you're amazing. Who cares? No one cares. Parcel being delivered. All right. Sometimes people like you to take notes. If they filled in that paperwork, great, really obvious that they would be happy for you to take notes. So if you ask them, would you mind if I kept some notes? They're going to go, I like this person. They care about my house. Some people won't care, but be attentive to the details. You can use trial closes through here. You can ask questions and just say, look, is there a part of the property that you think buyers would appreciate the most? Where do you think would be the best photo that we could take? Ask them those sort of questions. It's also a leading closing question. What is it that you guys fell in love with when you first walked through the door and you bought this property? What is it that you loved? Or what is it that you liked? Or what is it that really grabbed your attention? Why did you buy it? Because that can help open up a whole nother conversation. They can go into detail. Stay on the path. Don't walk around the house looking at photos of Santorini and go, oh, I went to Santorini, it was the best, and then talk about it for the next 10 minutes. Yes, build rapport with them. Ask those questions. Yes, so you understand what they're coming from. But please don't make it all about you and your conversations. Everything you're doing is to build rapport, to find out about them, to find out what their motivation is, why they're moving, and do they have a destination? Because it will help you get that business. All right. Why'd you fall in love with the place? How can we help other people? So have a repertoire of questions, practice your questions, but be conversational. I've mentioned it so many times now. It's important that you're not robotic. So you don't go in there and you sit down at the table and go, so why are you moving? What's important to you? Why are you looking at now? I've been asked to ask these questions. Be conversational, be fun. If they're an upbeat person, be upbeat with them, mirror, match. If they're, someone who seems quite private and guarded, don't get in their face. Give your distance, keep your distance, show them things from a distance. Read that person, read their personality, and mirror and match them. Not in a patronizing way, but in a sensible, smart way. Make them feel comfortable. Our job is to make someone feel comfortable and then get two parties who don't know each other to like each other through negotiation. Have a repertoire of questions, but be conversational. Who referred you to me? Great leading question. All right. And if they say, well, nobody did. Okay, well, how'd you find out about it myself? Oh, we saw on Google, or we saw the board down the road, we saw you sold that one. Okay, did you get to go through that property? Did you have a look at it? And what did you think of the result? Yeah, I thought it was amazing. That's why you're sitting here. Fantastic. Right? You've got that filed away in your home, in your head, that you can use that at any other time. When those guys got that result, here's a fantastic case study of what they went through and what it cost them to do to get to that. All these things can come back up, right? So you can reuse it. Have you been researching the market? One of my favorite questions, because I follow up that with, you have an opinion of the worth of your home. My job, and I'm not openly honest with people, I'm not here to value your home. Okay, so why did you call me in? But some people go, well, we wanted an idea of what it was worth. Okay, well, why is that? You'll get to it. You'll get to the eventual answer, all right, if you ask enough questions. But have you been researching the market is a fantastic lead in, because some people will tell you everything that you might not know. You might not know some of the information that they know. Let them talk. Let them go. Yes, we have been researching. Okay, what are your thoughts on the market? How do you feel about it? Well, we know it's gone down. Okay, beautiful. Talk to me about that. Well, we saw that place down the road that we thought that should have sold for 1.3 and it went for 115. Okay, how do you feel your place compares to that? Ours is not as good as that. It's helping you form an opinion of what you think the place is worth as well, and what they think their place is worth. And I've had many this week that have thought their place is worth only 900, but the market shifted a little bit, and I've been able to relay to them, look, the great news is, you guys have mentioned you don't want to go on the market. You'd like to do it off market. Fantastic. And the great news is that it might be worth a little bit more than you're thinking. So if we can get some people through here, and I've got, a list of 497 buyers right now, which are here, I can show you. Do you want to get in through the property now? It's a really easy close. It's very, very easy. Okay. And do you have the opinion of the worth of your home? Some people go, nah, that's why you're here. Okay, fantastic. But you told me you've researched the market, right? So you've researched a lot of things. you obviously have an understanding of what it's worth. And I love it when people do their research and they do their homework, because usually they're the more informed ones. So, it's not about what I think it's worth. It's about what the buyers think it's worth. So I need to know what you might be willing to sell it for. That's the important conversation for us today. Not me just giving you an idea of what I think it's worth and telling you what you might want to hear. Okay. Why are you looking at now to sell is a fantastic question. Why are you looking at now? Oh, we're not looking at now. We're looking in 6 months' time. Why is that? It helps you to ask questions. What is it that happens in 6 months' time that is going to change? Or, why am I here now? I'm here now because of this. We want to move really quickly. Okay, what's that? We found a house that we really like. Now tell me about it. Let them talk. It's here there. I had one that I just sold off market. Exactly that. They just said, Jarrod, we found a house out in the bush that we want to buy, but we need to move pretty quickly. Okay. How does that look if you need to move really quickly? Can you buy it subject to the sale of your home, or how do we do this together? How do we manage it? No, we might be able to do it subject to sale. Well, let's ask that question. I'll get onto the phone to your agent and let's ask that question first. And if not, I've already got a book of buyers I could get through here. And I did. I got 3 buyers through within a few days and sold it for pretty much above what they wanted. So solutions, you're there to provide solutions, but you'll only get there if you're asking the right questions. If you're just going and presenting, you're not going to find out, and you're going to walk out and go, yeah, I'll follow them up. They're not going to care. What's the most important thing to you in selling your home? Once you've asked those other questions and, okay, these guys are sellers. Okay, what's the most important thing to you? And they'll have to think about it. Some people go, oh, I just want it sold. They haven't thought about the process because they don't know. So ask, what is the most important thing to you selling? Well, I don't know. Well, if you did know, what do you reckon it'd be? Money. Okay, fantastic. Yes, that's a lot of people. Is there anything else? Dig, because then you can provide the solution. If it's just about money, they want to know how good a negotiator you are. We confuse that with they want the cheapest commission. No, they want to know how much money they're going to make. Okay, so is it important to you? I've asked, is it important to you just the commission rate, or is it important to you to get more money in your pocket? More money in our pocket. Okay, great. So you're not just after cheap commission. Fantastic, because I'm not that person anyway. I'm here to make you money. I'm not here to just provide a cheap service. Okay. Ask questions to listen, to not just respond, but you want to diagnose. All right. You want to be like a doctor, and it's one of the best things I ever learned from Rick Rushton is ask questions to then be able to diagnose. Okay. It's not just you're asking questions because you listen to some guy talk for an hour about asking questions and why you should ask questions. You're asking questions to understand. All right. What is it that they need help with? What's their motivation? Where are they off to? And how can I help them achieve that? Then you can provide the cure. You're the answer to their prayers. But so many times you can shoot yourself in the foot and go, oh, I'll do it at 1.5%. They weren't after that. They were after the best negotiator, and you've shot yourself. You might as well pack up your books and go home. Okay. So learn the art of asking questions and find objections. I love objections. I want people to come at me with their objections because it means they're thinking. So I'll go objection hunting. I'll go and I'll say, look, have you actually heard anything? Let's be honest. Can we be really honest with each other? Yeah. Have you heard anything negative about me, or have any other agents said anything that was, sounded a bit weird or a bit off? Oh yeah, you don't have an office in Main Street. Fantastic. That's a great one. That's awesome. How did you feel about that when you heard that? Ask the question of them. The problem with objections is a lot of agents just jump straight to defense. They go straight into defense mode. Oh, well, yeah, but I don't, and then just stop. Ask them. When you heard that, how did you feel about it? What did you think? Well, yeah, it's a serious concern for us. We're worried about that. Okay, why is that? Well, we just think it's important that you should have an office. Okay, can I ask you this question? When you're searching for property, how do you search for it? Where did you find this home? Oh, you saw it on realestate.com. Interesting. So you didn't trip over the doormat of the agent? No. Okay, did you look at window cards? No. Okay. When you signed the contract, how did you do that? Did you go into their office, or how was it done? No, we did it on DocuSign. Okay. So is it important that they have an office in Main Street again? No, it's not. Okay, cool. Well, that's dealt with. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so ask the questions. Don't be afraid of objections. I think they're awesome. I love it because it gives you an opportunity to find out more about them and what's important. So then we can then talk about the best strategy for realestate.com, for example, or for marketing, how they're going to find out about it. But you'll never find out unless you ask. And I remember I had a guy who I found out through it, he was actually in marketing. And there were two other agents that went in before me, and talked about how cheaply they could do the marketing and how little it would cost them to do it. He was happy to pay tens of thousands on marketing because he was a marketer. He understood it. And I asked him a simple question. So when those agents suggested that, as a marketer, what did you think? He said, I thought they were idiots. I said, okay, fantastic. So do you have a budget for marketing? How much would you like to spend on marketing? We had a budget up to 20 grand. No, okay, cool. That will get you a fantastic marketing package. That will be amazing. We might not have to spend that much, but if we're not getting to the results that we think, okay, let's have that in the bag ready to go. Right? Are you guys ready to move forward if we can get the right marketing package together? Yep. Okay, so go looking for the objections and build trust at every opportunity. You will build trust by asking questions and getting people to respond to those questions. I find it really difficult when people won't answer the questions, but keep digging. Just keep going without interrogating. Make it conversational. Love these sort of questions. The other agent said they'll pay for the marketing, and I just touched on that. The best thing to do in that is rather than go, oh, well, it's just, that's crazy, and it's a parts and labor and it's this and that, and you just jump straight to the defense. Turn it back and say, okay, when they said they'd pay for the marketing, what did you think? Ask them. They go, well, that's really attractive to us. Okay, why is that attractive to you? Why is it important that someone else pays for the marketing? Then you can again diagnose. You can say, okay, well, if they're paying for the marketing, does it concern you that you'll get the right package, that you'll get enough people looking at your property to get you to a high price? Does that worry you at all? Well, I hadn't even thought of that. Okay, because I can assure you that if an agent's going to be paying for the marketing, they are not going to put it in the places that is going to help you get to the highest price. They're going to give you the cheapest package that they can, which is not going to help with your exposure, which obviously is not going to help you get to the best price, is it? No, it's probably not. Okay, so we can park that one. All right, let's work out a program that works for you to help you get the best price. And I've got just a solution for that. Can we go through that together? Is that all right? Yes, we can. All right. You can use things like this. Have this in your tool bag. Have it in your kit of things to say. There's two parts to it. So yes, when you go and get your car worked on, there's a parts and labor. All right. It's the same with marketing. Marketing, and then we are the labor. So my skill set is the negotiation, but it's also the marketing. But we ask people to pay for that so they know what they're getting. They know exactly what they're getting, and it's not going to send us broke. That's in the back of your head. It's an insurance policy. You can have all these things, this dialogue in the back of your head. And I mentioned it before. When you're asking the question, you can then say, look, it's to help get the best outcome. But without marketing to the right places, you're not going to get the best outcome. But you have to believe it. You have to 100% believe it. And I remember even Joel, when he started with this, and sorry, Hoodie, if you're watching, but he was like, back then, we were getting 2,600, 2,700 for marketing when realestate.com was a lot cheaper. Now you can't even get it on realestate.com for that. And he said, mate, how do you get it? How do you get the much? He was getting about 1,200. I said, Joel, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Are you listening? I said, I asked for it. He's like, right. I just asked for it. But I had enough trust with people that they understood that I was doing it for the right reasons, to get it out to more people, to get them a better price. It wasn't to market ourselves. It wasn't because we liked doing it. It was to help them get a better price. And we fully believed it, and we could show it. We could show it in the results. Okay. So all these documents are there. Have this stuff. Have it all. Not everyone will read it. But if it's there, it looks great. Some people will read it and go, that will be the difference between you and the other agent, you getting the work. Okay, all this stuff there, it's all in the documents. We've got it online. If you're not in agent's agency, right, then there's other places you can get this information, I'm sure. It's all good stuff. All right, so skip over that. Very important that you have these sort of things and ask people for their opinions. That's the critical thing. Okay, have case studies, stories. Stories are great. whether they need the visual of it, figure out if they're a visual person, pull it out, have your case studies. But be very careful. This has to be timed right, and it has to be important to the client. If you just sit down with them and just start busting through all your case studies, and I sold this and I'm amazing, and there were 27 buyers that came through and blah, 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 and that's not important to them, they're just going to zone out. You watch their body language and they're just kind of go, yep, okay, can't wait for this person to leave because they're talking about how good they are. Okay, they have this on hand. I have a CMA on hand, ready to go. Sometimes digitally, sometimes if I think they're going to be a bit more of an analog person, I take it with me. Or I have both. I have it digitally and analog. So digitally, I'll use it to get them comfortable with being on the iPad so that when they sign the authority, it's on the iPad and they're comfortable with it. Method to every part of my madness. But case studies are really, really important because people need to know that other people have been in their shoes. Okay, so it's a social proof thing. It's like a soul board. Social proof is massively important. We have seen how COVID, again, I'll refer back to it, how people are want to be part of the herd. They want to be part of the pack. So they want to know it's safe to go where other people have been. That's human nature. We want to know if I'm going with this person, other people have been with them before and they're safe and they're okay and they've done really well. Okay, so that's where your marketing should revolve around. Other people have done this, so you be just like them. We're all sheep. We really are. So case studies can help with that. This is what they went through, but paint the picture. You know, just like you guys, they were concerned that they weren't able to move in time, that we wouldn't be able to get it sold in time for them to go and buy the other property. If you have a look, I sold it within a week to qualified buyers that we had on our list. You know, here's another one. We sold this off market. If it's import strategy that they've talked about, they already want. We sold this one within a week off market as well, and they were able to buy the property that they really wanted to. And they were stressed. They were worried, just like you guys. So you're painting a picture, you're building rapport, you're creating that social proof, and you're creating the proof that you are the person to pull that off for them, right? And you're not going to walk out of there without the business. I don't want to ever walk out without the business. Not all surgeons are the same. Not all real estate agents are the same. Not all teachers are the same. And draw the line in that or find an example of it. Would you go to your podiatrist to get brain surgery? No. Okay, well then maybe you don't use the guy who sells factories over there to sell a $2 million property over here. You probably wouldn't do that, would you? And to ask about an exterior experience, if you're still struggling to build that rapport, or you think you haven't got them, or you know they think, oh, all your agents are just the same. You can ask them, do you remember a school teacher that really changed your life, or do you remember a teacher that was amazing? Yeah, I do. Okay, so by that you'd say that not all teachers were the same. No. And what industry are you in? I'm in sales for blah blah. Okay, do you think you're better than everybody else within that organization or that industry? Yeah, of course I am. Okay. Doesn't it stand to reason that not all real estate agents are the same, that there's better than others, that some are better negotiators, some are better at what they do? Yeah, okay. Have we examined that and explored that? And do you feel we fit into that category? Yeah, I do. Okay, great. All right, so you're always figuring out ways to close. And if you get a no to it, if you get a no to any of those things, don't fall apart. Just go, okay, based on what? What are you basing that on? We showed you examples of how we've gotten to higher prices. Where do you think might be falling down? Find objections. Find it. All right. Putting the wrong agent in front of the right buyer. I have heard of examples where some people will not even go to an open home because of the agent. If you were the vendor of that property, how would you feel about that? All right. You know, I've built a great reputation in town. People do like coming to our opens. The kids get lolly bags when they come through the front door. Kids see our boards and they cannot wait to walk through the front door because they know they're going to get a treat. Okay, those things are important. Of everything we do, we want people to feel engaged. So if they're engaged when they're coming to the front door, they're happier, they enjoy coming to our opens. And if you put the wrong agent in front of people who's not paying attention, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Is money important to you? Do you like money? Yeah, we do. Okay, well, let's get it right. All right. 10 seconds of courage. Who's guilty of not asking for the business? I reckon all of us have been at some point, right? What does it hurt if you've built rapport, if you've trial closed through the whole thing, if you've got some of those selling signals, if people have made it obvious that they are going to sell and you don't ask them for the business? Shame on you, right? Because you're not doing them any favors. You want to make it easier for them to make the decision. They're not going to put a pen in your hand to get you to sign it up. Some people really want you to sign it up. You are there, if you think you're the best agent for the job, you are there to create the path of least resistance to make it easy for them. If you leave the door open for an agent that is not got their best interest at heart, that is not going to get them the best price, that's on you. So ask them for the business. Guys, have I answered all of your questions? How are you feeling about it? Yeah, feel really good. Okay, great. Are you happy to get moving today? Are you happy to authorize something for me now to be able to get onto our buyers and get them through as quickly as possible? Yes. All right. So ask the question, lead into it. Don't just go, okay, here's my presentation. I've done my presentation. Are you ready to go? No, because you haven't built rapport. You haven't done all the steps. You haven't asked them enough questions. You haven't figured out what their motivation is. You haven't made it about them. You've made it about you. But if you've done all those things right, asking this question, or, should we get the ball rolling? Are you guys ready to move forward today? If we're going to ground the marketing, are you in the position to make a decision today? Yeah, we are. Okay, fantastic. Let's go through that together. If you ask that question and you found out what their objection is, and it's the marketing, or it's this, or it's that, and you ask that question, you say, if we can come to an agreement on the marketing today, are you in the position to move forward today? No, we're not. Okay, why not? Have I not answered something, or what is it? Don't leave if you want that listing. Don't just go, oh, okay, all right, sure, all right, well, I'll see you next time. Find out, what is it? Oh, well, we just want to get another agent through. Okay, is there something that I haven't explained that you feel another agent would explain better? Or was there something that they didn't explain very well? You've had two other agents through. Is there something that either of those people didn't explain very well that you needed clarification on? Oh, well, yeah, it's just the commission. It's this or it's that. Find out so you can address it. Do not leave unless you get that business. Having the courage to sit there and find out what the objections are, to then ask for the business, is the difference of 1 to 5 sales a month. And that is life-changing. All right, an extra 10 to 30 grand a month for most people changes their whole business structure. All right, so get good at this. Get good at asking the question at the right time and have a bit of courage. And if they say no, then ask, what is it that isn't helping you guys right now? What is it that we're not answering? Is there, some reason that you're not prepared to move forward? I've been bold enough to ask people before I ask these questions, the closing questions. Can I ask, how do you feel about myself and our business at the moment? Yeah, great. Okay. Is there anything else that you need to know in order to be able to move forward today? Yeah, what's your commission? Okay, whatever that might be. But if you're not asking the questions, you're not getting to the solutions. So ask the questions and then be courageous. That you're happy to move forward today. You're happy to get started today. And if they say no, well, what happens for you? What needs to happen for you to be able to do that? Well, we need to paint the deck out the back. Okay, if I can get a tradesperson through here next week, could we get started now? I'll get it organised and get going. Yes, we can. Great. Okay. There's your answer. But if they had just said, oh, no, we're not quite ready to go yet, and you go, oh, okay, well, I'll call you next week. If you walk out that door, say goodbye. The chances are you're not likely to get it because the next person who has got the skill set will sit in there and get the business. Okay? I'll do it. So the follow-up's important. I mentioned to you before, I like to get the business while I'm in there. But follow-up is really important because then they need to know that you actually care. So a follow-up, a simple question when you follow up, have a strategy for it. Are they on your email list? Are they on your list of calls to make when a property sells in that area? That's the best call you can make. Hey, just to keep you informed, Firstly, I want to see how you guys are going. How's everything? Has anything changed in your world? No, we're still getting the place ready. Do you need help with that? We probably could do with a tradesperson. Yeah, cool. I'll organise it, whatever it might be. Did you notice the place that's sold down the road? Yeah, we did see that. What do you think of the result? Terrible or great, whatever it might be. Okay, you're calling them with a purpose. The hardest thing to do is call after an appraisal and get oh yeah, we're still thinking about it, and you hang up. What is it that you're thinking about? What can I help with? Okay, follow up is really, really important, but have a structure for it, have a strategy for it. Help them with the destination. If it's that they're moving to Queensland, great. Connect them with another agent wherever they're thinking of moving to and stick with them. Stay with them. Have a look around for property and say, hey, did you see that one in blah, blah? Yeah, we did see that. Okay, I'll hook you up with the agent to have a look at it. And then while you're doing that, do you want me to start getting on to people about selling your place? Yeah, it sounds good. Again, you're providing solutions, but you're staying in contact with them for things that are meaningful to them. So help with the destination. Have a plan around it. Are we in the position to start letting buyers know about your property? Well, not quite. Okay. What do you need help with? What is it? Well, we need to get the pergola built. Okay. Are you on the path for that? What's happening with it? No, we can't find a builder. Great. I've got a great builder. I'll get him to call you today. Provide solutions. All right. So have those connections and provide solutions. Don't just take no for an answer or be too scared to pick up the phone. You have to have courage in this business to be okay with rejection. Love rejection. Bring it on. Because if I know I get rejected, the next one is likely not a rejection. Just keep plugging along, keep making the phone calls, have your energy so that you can cop that. You can cop a few punches in the head. You can have one of your neighbours, like right next door, who listed with another agent. Does that burn me? Yes. Does it piss me off? Yes. But do I live with it? Yeah. And do I go and, just keep going and keep positive? Absolutely. All right. You have to have the energy for it to pick yourself up and keep going. Uh, no, rejection is fantastic. I love rejection because it means I'm closer to more business. Just not as long as you're not getting rejected all the time. If you're winning only 1 out of 10, not a good sign. You want to win more business than that.
And I think with that, JC, I'll just put a full stop on exactly what you just said there. Guys, this is ultimately, we've learned so much today, and I am sure that for all the people that are on this session today, everyone was thinking about their own, history, their own past of going out to properties while you were speaking, all the examples of what you were saying. I know I was, and thank you. It was a great session, JC.
It's
But
funny, Arthur, you can pick those ones that you go, oh, shit, I
yeah,
didn't ask enough questions. I remember that one.
yeah, exactly. But the thing is, you got to practice. So you got to practice with your director, you got to practice with your colleagues. Don't go out there and be the surgeon who's going to say, I'm going to practice on a live patient, right? That's not a good thing. So
Yeah.
you've really got to put some effort into, finding your tribe or your team, the people that are around you in your office that can actually sit there and do this role play with you. And JC, I don't know about you, but we used to make it a rule in our office before any critical conversation. Manos used to say, you've got to role play it.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is just to blow it. And we've all done that. Recently, or not recently, I shouldn't say recently, but it was a couple of years ago now. I haven't sold for quite some time, but I remember once I tried to be someone I'm not.
Mm.
I stepped out of being Arthur. I tried to be someone I'm not. So when I was trial closing this couple, they said, oh, we're just not sure. We're just still thinking this and that. And I said, listen, guys, if you want me, have you identified me as someone that you could possibly work with? Yes. And I said, well, I don't even know if I can take you on. But if
Yeah.
I could take you on, because I'm so busy, you see, but if I could take you on,
The
when do you
scarcity
think?
clause.
Yeah,
Scarcity
and
clause
they
is a big
actually
one.
said no to me over the phone at a later conversation. They said, we thought you were too busy.
Yeah.
I just chose the wrong thing to say. I wasn't really listening.
Yes. The
I
scarcity
something.
clause. The scarcity clause is actually a good one if you know you're in with a shot, but you've got to deliver it right. Okay,
Yeah.
so saying to some people, and I use it quite a bit. I just say, guys, look, I'm going to be really honest with you. I only take on a certain amount of listings per month.
Sure.
I'd really love to work with you, but I've almost reached my quota because I want to give the best service I possibly can.
Yeah.
I've only got one, and I've got 2 spaces left at the moment of taking on listings this month, and then I close the doors because I want to make sure I give the best service. So if you'd like to be one of those two, great. I'd love to work with you guys right now. So if that's something you're interested in, how about we do that? Yes.
That sounds a lot better than the way I delivered it. So
I'm
I just
too
sounded
busy. I
too
don't even know
busy,
if I
and
want your business. Yeah.
that's
You've got
great.
to be careful with how you deliver
Yeah.
everything. But you'd only use that if you're on the, if you're on the fence of sometimes when you take things away from people, it's a beautiful thing. I had to do it yesterday with someone. You take it away from them, they go, well, for the right personality type and the right situation, they go, well, no, but I want you. It's like, well, guys, I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but I am busy at the moment, but I only take on a certain amount of clients, and I'd love to work with you, but I kind of need a commitment now because I've got 4 appraisals left today, and I'm only taking 2 of those on board. Oh, okay. And I've had people call me back. Can we have you? It's fantastic. So, but be smart. Use it wisely. Use that at the right timing. Use it for the right people. But you only do it if you build rapport. Rapport's a key.
Memorable. You have to be memorable. People want to remember you.
We are so damn forgettable. As real estate agents, we think we're rock stars. We think we're this. We think we are forgettable. We are nobodies to them. They go to 8 open for inspections on a weekend. They're struggling to remember what the house looked like. You, come on. You're part of an equation. You have to be memorable. Stand out. Be the person who listens, who helps them. And you go, hang on, no, I remember you. That's right. You're the guy that made me feel comfortable. Not the girl stood at the door going, name, number, nah, there's the kitchen. Shut up.
Let's get into some Q&A. Enough from me. Some Q&A, please. You can either put in the chat box or unmute and just yell it out, please. Let's go. I'm sure we've got some questions today. No one's
like people had
no one's ever game. I don't understand why.
This is like
guys.
It's like an auction. It's like when you start calling an auction and everybody looks down at their feet and you go, I don't want to be the person to ask the question. I'm not a scary person. So
10 seconds of courage. Here we go.
there you go. Anyone, Bueller. Geez, this could be a short session.
This is going to be a very short session.
Question.
No, nothing. I got nothing, James.
Wow.
Getting nothing. I'm getting crickets.
Geez, mate, I must have covered everything off or not enough.
Well, I'll fill it with a little humorous story. Many years ago, JC, I happened to be down in Mornington. Oh, there we go. We've got a question. I'll go to that in a second. I was down in Mornington and I'm trying to build rapport, a beautiful home, and I saw this picture of a yacht. And I recognized the yacht. It was of a fellow who I believe you or your team, one of your team members there, I think sold it, JC. It was a multi-million-dollar property that gentleman lived in. And it was he's a famous person, famous yacht. And I said, oh, I know that guy. We sold his home, And the owner said, here's a rat bag. My husband's suing him for millions. And I've gone, well, you know what? I've never actually met him and it wasn't really me. And I was scheduling so fast, I just wanted to get out of that home. So sometimes you got to pick your moments. Let's go to the chat box.
Yep.
Let's go to the chat box. Okay, here we go.
Do you get them to sign the agreement on the first appointment? Great question. Yes, as much as physically possible. So first step is allowing yourself enough time. So I'll keep an hour and a half gap between all of my appointments. So if I book a 12 o'clock appraisal, I don't want anything until at least 1:45-ish. An hour I allow for a presentation or for an appraisal, hour and a half sometimes if they're chatty. So do I get them signed? 100%. If you can get them to sign on the first appointment, you're 100% likely to be successful. If you leave that door and walk out, it leaves too much room for other people, and you've only got a 25% chance generally of getting the business if you're lucky. Okay, because then as soon as you walk out the door, they start forgetting about you. They start talking about, he had a nice car, or he was a nice person, or a nice suit. You have to have, I reckon that getting the business on the first is probably one of the more important things you do. Do you via DocuSign on your laptop? We've started to use a cool program called Anywhere Agent. I think there's Anytime Agent as well. There's plenty of things you can sign up, but I also do old school have in my pack that I walk in with an exclusive authority pad in there, just in case the technology dies, something goes wrong, they're not comfortable with technology. I cover all bases, but I want to have every bit of information with me that I can sign them up on the spot. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, mate.
I think that does, and you know what? I want to throw some steak knives out there today, Michael. Thank you for the question. That's great from Fremantle Co. I am going to give you a half an hour session with JC, just
Yes.
a one-on-one session with JC, and we will pick up the tab. What's your hourly rate, JC? By the way, I don't.
You're not gonna know that, mate.
So we will pay. Corporate will pick up a half an hour session. So Michael, reach out to JC, and you've got half an hour with him one-on-one. Let's go over to Tyler Hagen. We've got here.
You
When
might
at
have
a
noticed.
presentation,
Yeah,
what are some of the questions I can ask the owner to set landmines for the next agent? Wow.
Tyler, great question. I try not to landmine other agents. I don't focus on what other agents are doing. I just don't care about them. That sounds awful, but no, I focus on what I can do better and what questions I was going to ask. But a great question to ask. You can ask this at landmines to the other agents. If you need to know about other agents, I tend not to even bother. But if you need to know about other agents, you can always ask, have you had other agents through? Yes, we have. Did they say anything to you that you needed clarification on? Was there anything that didn't really resonate with you or that you thought was a bit off? And that opens up the door for them to be able to talk about it. Right? You don't want to go, oh yeah, such and such hasn't done it, because then you look like you have sour grapes, and it's a bigger opportunity for them to just go, no, I didn't really like that guy. He just talked about the other agents, and people will see through that. So I would rather ask that one question will be really important for you. Have you had other agents through? Yes, we have. Okay. Did you agree on the price that they put on the property? Did they talk to you about price? No. Too high, too low? What were you thinking? You can always lead into them providing you with the answers, but don't pile it on. Don't go, oh yeah, those guys, they always do. Just stop. Stop yourself from doing it. If the next question you can ask is, was there anything that the other agent said that didn't really resonate with you or that you needed clarification on or you needed an understanding of? That will help you massively to divert them back towards you, because then they can say, oh yeah, we didn't quite understand when they talked about this, or they talked about that, or they said they had buyers, right? And is that important to you that the agent has buyers? Well, yeah, honestly, we all have buyers. We've got 15 listings that we've just sold that we've got leftover buyers from that. We've all got buyers. You want to make sure those buyers are put in front of the right agent. And also, the biggest database you're going to have in Australia is realestate.com. So it's important that we get that right, wouldn't you say? What do you think about that? Or what in what they said didn't make sense to you? Well, we didn't like this, we didn't like that. Okay, great. So then you don't put your foot in your mouth by saying exactly the same thing they said. All right. So that's what's important. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, JC, the one objection I always worked with when they said, oh, the other agent's got plenty of buyers, I said, oh, the leftovers, you mean the ones that weren't prepared to pay the most, are they the ones you want to work with?
Yeah.
And that's a really good, just a sharp way to nip that in the butt. But anyway, much
Michael,
appreciated.
answer your last other question too, Michael. What do I take? I take an iPad for one. I take Authority Pad in a package that has all my sold stories as well. So if I need to bust those out, and I also take a comparative market analysis. Do I use them all the time? No, not necessarily. Sometimes I'll bring it out for the visual people if I think that they really need an understanding of what the prices are, if they're all price focused. But in doing so, when I open up a CMA, I go, guys, do you know this place? It's just down the street from you. Did you see it? Yeah, we did. What did you think about that compared to your place? It's fairly similar, but they have a better kitchen than ours. So would you say that that should be worth the same amount or more than your place? So I'm not just going, I think your house is worth 1.2 to 1.3. You're asking them to diagnose what they think their place is worth. So you're not, again, shooting yourself in the foot, because in their heads, they're thinking, oh, yeah, house is worth 1.5. And you go, oh, well, compared to that one down the street, it was 1.2 to 1.3. So you're probably about there. All they're thinking about is the price, and they can't wait for you to get out the door. Hopefully that makes sense. Strategy.
Last question, JC. We're thinking about going with the other agent because we bought from them years ago.
Yes. Yes, which is one that I thankfully am on the other side of a lot of the time. So okay. So you bought from them? All right. So all those years ago, when you bought from them, how did you feel about the purchase when you went through the process? How did you feel about it? Well, yeah, it was okay. It was all right. Just okay or exceptional? You know, going through the whole thing from up to settlement, did you hear from them again afterwards? And if they are a brilliant agent and they've done all the right things, well, it's hard, so much harder to combat. But then you can ask a very simple question. Do you feel in the negotiations, do you feel they could have got more money from you? Yeah. Yeah, actually, most of the time, most people will say, yeah, I reckon we would have gone another 10 or 20 grand. Okay. So you're looking at giving your business to someone who you feel you could have given more money to that vendor. Oh, I don't know if I'd want that person stood on the door, really. Yeah, I don't know about that. So rest assured, most people that I do business with, they walk away from it with their dignity. They walk away loving me, but I will extract every dime out of them that I can to give to you. Okay, that is my job. People love me. They think I'm a really nice bloke. But my job is to make you the most amount of money that sits in that marketplace at the moment. Does that sound fair? That sound fair is a beautiful question. A beautiful question. Does that sound fair? Because people don't want to be unreasonable. Use it a lot, not too much. Prices, algorithms from websites, yes. Yep, use all that stuff. So in a CMA, one of the ones I really refer to when people say if they've done their research, great. Okay, so what does your research suggest from what you've seen? And do you have an opinion on what your place is worth? I think it's gone down. Okay, and what are you basing that on? Oh, we're just talking to people. Okay, cool. I would concur. Let me show you. So this is what's happened in the last 12 months. I bust out a CMA and it shows it's dropped off. Even if they think, oh no, our house has gone up in value. Okay, what are you basing that on? Oh, well, we just think it has. I want to get into an argument with you guys. I think that's great, and hopefully you're right. Hopefully your place has gone up in value. General marketplace, just so you know, do you want me to show you what has happened in the marketplace? Yeah, okay. I love graphs because graphs tell a story. It shows them in the last 12 months, this is what's happened in the marketplace. Do you think your place, do you feel your place is immune to that in any way? No. Okay, this is what's happened in the last. Now, good news, the great news is you've been here for 20 years. The good news is, have a look at this graph. You guys bought back here. It's done this. It went up massively during COVID. This is COVID, look how crazy it was. But this is when they started raising interest rates. So naturally, the prices have dropped over the last 2 years. But the fantastic news for you guys, you bought 20 years out, you bought that down here. You've made a ton of money. But you just didn't sell it 2 years ago when you could have realised more. But if you bought in that same marketplace, it would have cost you more to buy. So you are actually in a better position right now, would you say? If you think about it, if you sold 2 years ago, yes, you would have sold it for more, but you would have had to pay more. You pay more agents fees nor stamp duty. You are in such a better position today. How good's that? So
Fantastic.
why don't we move forward today? Let's go. Let's go.
Well done. Thank you, JC. I'm mindful of the time. Like to get everyone out on time. So really appreciate that. Winning the business. It's been recorded. It's there for prosperity. Could you just flick on to slide 59 for me, please? We'll just repeat this slide one more time for everyone, just in case they weren't on at the very beginning or I wasn't sharing my screen as I wasn't. Heads will roll today. Day one, strategy and inspiration, Tuesday, the 2nd of December. 8:30 a.m. start. Be there at 8 o'clock to grab it, the best seats in the house. 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Of course, day two is implementation day. So it's a slight change this year. It's going to be a ripper. Wednesday, the 3rd of December. We're at the Crown Complex. It's going to be a fantastic session. The full release of all speakers and lineups and all that will be coming out shortly. So look out for something in your inbox with the full list. Thank you, everyone. JC, to you. Thank you again for filling in. It was a great session winning the business. Guys, have a great day, everyone. I think our toolbox is filling. Thank you again. Have a great day. Any last words, JC?
No, thank you all. Thanks for you guys being on here. I think that's awesome that you're putting the effort into yourselves to improve and to improve the industry. I think it's unreal. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well done, mate. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, Alf.